like to give everybody out there listening a very warm White Cat welcome, because you're tuned in to the White Cat Outdoors podcast.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to episode 34 of the White Cat Outdoors podcast. I know right now you're probably thinking, wait, why isn't Frank bringing us in? If you would have listened last week, you would know that Frank is currently in Alaska right now, setting up for moose and bear camp. So we got tonight, me, Tom, bringing you in, and right across from me we got my brother.
Hey, how's it going? Nick, of course. You got two brothers.
Yes. Luke, believe it or not, is actually also in Alaska salmon fishing right now. I think we briefly mentioned that, so you can look forward to a Alaskan salmon fishing podcast coming up here in the near future.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. He's due back. Well, if you're listening in podcast land, tomorrow he's due back.
Which, in non-podcast land, that's 3 days.
Yep.
Monday.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah,
yep.
Monday. So Luke's gonna be due back here pretty soon. He was up there with Bailey and who's his A&N fishing, Anthony.
Right.
And Hunter Daniels. All those guys were up there fishing the salmon run, and I've gotten a few pictures and just been absolutely killing it out there right now. Luke's getting some footage, so be looking for that on the old Facebook page.
Probably on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube actually is probably the best place to find that.
Yeah, to find videos. Yeah, YouTube's a good one.
Yeah, and TikTok. We actually do have a TikTok. There's not a single video on there.
It probably won't ever be, so
no, there won't.
Don't look for them.
Yeah, Cassie, Luke's girlfriend, which we haven't had her on yet, which I think we should because she's big into fly fishing.
And as a camp down in the mountains.
Yeah, so that would actually be a pretty fun podcast. But she's the one that told us, you got to get on TikTok. And you know what? We pleased those wishes. And
halfway.
Well, all she told us is we got to get a TikTok. So we have one now.
Yeah, well, we're halfway there.
And I did find out a couple weekends ago when we went down to the cabin, her camp down in the mountains, that her dad, Randy, that I just met that weekend, great guy, he actually listens to the podcast and follows us on Instagram and everything, so that's pretty cool. So,
but before we dive headfirst into this week's podcast, I think me and Nick should give you guys a little overview of what we got going on this weekend up at our headquarters. We're actually in non-podcast time, it's Friday night, and this weekend we're headed up to the headquarters for a little archery season preparation.
Work weekend.
Absolutely. We got
all work.
No beer until the work's done. Probably won't even drink a beer tonight.
Nope.
Or maybe not even tomorrow at lunch.
Nope.
But we got tree stand checking. That includes, cutting lanes.
Checking tree stands.
Yeah. Cutting, shooting lanes, making sure the sticks are, still sturdy onto the tree, putting new straps on.
Clearing spots for mobile setups and stuff.
Yeah. Firewood, that's a big one. We got to cut.
That's going to be a big one for tonight.
Yeah, because we're actually pretty much out of firewood. We
got enough for about one more night, and that's it. So.
And we got a little bit of mowing. And other than that, that's probably about maybe some string trimming.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of that. But good old work weekend stuff you got to get done.
Food plots are coming in nicely. Look on the Instagram. Hopefully we'll get some pictures of our food plots posted up on the gram.
Yeah, we can put them up on our story for sure. Just a little progress on that.
We got little recap beans, clover, chicory, brassica, and turnips. So
is that even what's on the back in the hidden food plot?
That's a mixture of clover, chicory, brassica, and turnips.
Oh, you even have turnips back there too?
Yeah.
I thought that was just out in the big field.
No, a mix of year-round eats for the deer.
Wow.
Hunt it any time of the season.
That is just your good old-fashioned golden corral back there, isn't it?
Smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord, yeah.
Hog trough, as my good buddy says.
I don't have any good buddies that say that. I know somebody that says it.
He's a whitetail legend.
He's not, because I don't even know his name.
Great guy. Solid dude. If you're out there listening.
Yeah.
He knows who he is.
Yeah. We'll just leave it at that.
So anyway, Nick, why don't you reel us into what we got going on tonight?
Well, so this is something that's been floating around in the hunting industry for, I don't know, about a week or so. And we put a post out earlier in the week, just trying to get ideas from people on things they want us to talk about. And a buddy of mine, Caden Flinchbaugh, one of my college buddies actually, commented that he wanted us to talk about what has been surfacing through the hunting industry, which is the use of cell cameras, specifically in whitetail and being entered into Pope and Young and Boone and Crockett's record books. And before we jump into it, I will lay it out the way Pope and Young has, I guess, declared their stance on it, and just so anybody that's not aware of it, we'll just give you the disclaimer on what the rule is as it stands, and then me and Tom are going to kind of give you our opinion, and it's going to be just an open discussion, kind of bounce some things off each other, play devil's advocate here and there, and just see where it goes. But so this is basically the way I'm going to paraphrase here. But Pope and Young has said that the use of not SpyCam, that's a brand, SpyPoint, but cell cameras, which are cameras that send you the picture instead of you having to go and manually retrieve them, they're legal in a lot of states. I can't say every because I don't know the rules on that, but you can't enter a buck into Pope and Young or Boone and Crockett if you're using those cell cams. They are deeming it not. I don't know exactly why, but they're basically stating that if you use cell cams on your property in the pursuit of big game, you can't enter your animal into those record books. So that's their stance on it. And then I'll turn it back to Tom now because I'd like to hear his opinion because we haven't even talked about this with each other really at all. I actually just informed Tom a little bit ago on this whole news thing because Tom doesn't get on the old Facebook much. He's a busy guy, hardworking guy, and spends a lot of time at the farms keeping stuff up. So I had to fill Tom in a little while ago, so he's had some time to sit on it and let it steep, if you will. Marinade, yeah. So Tom, what's your thoughts on their rules and what they've publicized now?
So given the fact that I really, haven't done my research into this topic, I do know that Pope and Young, that's bucks taken with a bow. And if you shoot a buck with a compound bow, it has to be, I believe, if it's over 75 or 80% let off, then it's not eligible for.
It's, I think, 65%, and anything above that has an asterisk next to it.
Right. Crossbows are actually not eligible for Pope and Young. That's actually Boone and Crockett. So what I gather from that is Pope and Young tries to keep it like the old-fashioned technology way of hunting with, recurves, long bows, and not so modern compound bows, because I know a lot of compound bows nowadays have 85% let off. Where
the new Elites actually have a 90% let off you can get.
Which, that's anybody that's shot in bows knows that there's a huge difference between shooting that and a recurve bow with no let off. So I think Pope and Young tries to stick with like that old era of hunting, and this is just speculation. I
said, we're not necessarily siding one way or the other tonight. Like I said, I'm going to play devil's advocate on a few questions because I'm going to throw some ideas at Tom just to get conversation stirring and get people to see it from a few different points. So
given, that fact, I think the reason maybe Pope and Young is not allowing bucks taken with cell cameras is because that technology has surpassed a lot of the earlier trail cameras. Now, you don't even have to go anywhere near your site. You can have cameras in a different state, and it'll send them to you, so you're not disturbing that land at all. I think it just gives yourself too much of an edge to be considered that old school era of.
So I do have a question. Like I said, I'm going to throw some things at you just to stir conversation. What advantage, like real advantage, do you have over the deer? Like, say we're here in Pennsylvania and I went and put some cell cams out in South Dakota. Driving takes what, like 15 hours for me to get to South Dakota?
20 some. Well,
20,
yeah.
Okay, either way, I'm saying a long time.
Yeah.
What real advantage do I have over that deer? Like if I go out to public land, do you think I get a true advantage over, like, I guess enough of an advantage? Obviously, cameras give you some sort of advantage. But I guess my thought is, like, if you're using them out of state, how much of an advantage is it really? Because you can't capitalize on it right away.
No, but if you put them out in the summertime, you can pattern that deer all summer long out of state. Know when he's coming through that area, what time he's coming through that area, what the barometric pressure is when he comes through that area, all that stuff. Where if with just a old school camera, you won't know any of that until you go out there and pull your card. And then you have to gather all that data of figuring out when and why he's coming through that specific area, while also putting scent in that area that might alarm the deer the next time he comes through, and he could shy away from that area.
That's one of the biggest things for me, is the fact that you don't have to disturb the wild once that camera's in there.
Yeah, you put your cell camera on, a deer trail or a scrape or something, and you can monitor that scrape and figure out, okay, this buck's coming in regularly when this, and this are in place. As far as
you can, because you can go back and check history on wind direction, pressure, moon phase, all that stuff, thermals, like you said, pattern it. And I know there's guys out there that actually put together like Excel spreadsheets with this stuff.
Yeah. So you have, a pretty good idea that, just to, simplify things, that this buck has been coming through this area pretty frequently when there's a north wind. So now you know all of that without ever going actually into that area. So now you wait for that north wind, you go in that area, and the first time that buck has any indication that a person is in there, you've already had an opportunity to shoot that animal. Where you go in with a normal camera and you pull the card and you go back, and now you figure out, okay, so this buck's coming in this food plot every time there's a north wind. Well, now the next time that buck goes in, he's going to smell that, oh, there's been a person here, and he might change his routine. So now when you go in to hunt on a north wind, he might not be there because he found a new spot without any human scent.
So I guess for me, I guess I'll give you my stance, because you've pretty much, you're in agreement with their ruling.
Yeah, I think so.
And I know, like you said, Pope and Young is like trying to keep it as like old school.
That's just a speculation. I have no idea.
I understand that. But so are you in agreement that Boone and Crockett is also keeping that out of their books?
I mean,
just based on how you described, you're in agreement with Pope and Young because they're trying to keep it old school, if you will. Are you in agreement with Boone and Crockett keeping it out of their book as well?
I don't know. That's a different one, because Boone and Crockett, that's with a rifle, and obviously you have a far bigger advantage with a rifle than with a bow. I mean, in
certain states, like PA, you can kill it with a rifle, but certain states, I think, is it Illinois? I think is still shotgun only.
Still, you have a far bigger advantage.
No, what I'm saying is, like, it's still legal to use rifles, even though, like, you can enter them with a rifle, even though there's certain states that can't use them.
Right. Yeah.
And baiting in certain states is legal, and you can still enter them.
You can?
Yeah, I was looking at, unless I'm reading it wrong, so if somebody knows better than I do, please correct us. But I was looking into it today, that their fair chase criteria, which I want to dive into a few more points on it, but it didn't say anything about the use of bait in there. So my guess is if it's legal in your state to bait, that you could still enter it to Boone or to Pope and Young. So
interesting.
Yeah.
But
so
go ahead.
I guess for me, it's Pope and Young. It's their club. To me, they get to decide what rules they set in place, and they don't really have to like they have their board of directors or their committee or whatever. They're the ones that decide the rules. If you don't like it, nobody's telling you have to enter your animal into that book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's your option to enter
yeah,
it.
it's not like putting a tag on a deer where you have to do it. You know, you could kill 100 and you could kill a world record. You don't necessarily have to enter it into the book. And I know certain people are reluctant to put their animals into the record books, like Pope and Young or Boone and Crockett, just for the fact that they have to disclose the location that they killed it.
So, how like specific of a location?
It varies by state.
I mean, if you tell somebody what county, that doesn't really blow up your hunting spot.
Not necessarily, because somebody can definitely, like, you know, we're in Erie County. That Erie County is huge. But I know, like, certain states ask for, like, towns or WMUs, which 1B starts to narrow it down. You know?
Like 1B is pretty big. I mean...
Yeah, but still, I'm saying it narrows it down from Erie County into 1B, and then if a certain state asks for your town, that'd be another... Like, our tags ask for the town, don't they?
Yeah.
So...
But I'm saying 1B covers, you know, Crawford County as well.
I guess, yeah, so it would be... Your WMU would be, and then your county would be even closer.
Yeah, and then town
I had
even
that backwards.
closer than that.
Yeah. But, I mean, if somebody... Here's the thing. If you have to name into, like, the county, people that you know can start piecing together where you got that deer from. You know, people can't hide from Facebook and the newspaper, whatever. So if I kill a deer that's really big, without entering it into the books or anything, I can tell people I killed it in Philly. You know, doesn't matter. I put all the legal stuff on the tag, but I can say whatever I want so people aren't hunting there. But if I enter it into the book, now people are going to start to be able to piece together where I was actually hunting. And so I can see why some people...
Even though, so if someone told you, oh, they shot a nice buck in McCain.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like people that somebody knows personally.
Yeah, they know where in our town we hunt.
Yeah, and people talk. That's basically, I think, what people are worried about.
Yeah.
But for me, bottom line is, it's their club. They can set the rules, and you don't have to enter your buck. So if you're not happy with those rules, don't enter your buck. And the other thing, I think a lot of it is on the hunter itself. It's kind of an honor system. There's no way that they could prove that you're using cell cams or not unless you're posting them on social media. If I've got a cell cam out, it's not like anybody's going to know unless I tell them. So
yeah, I mean, you could post it and say it was your other camera. You're not going to know it was a cell camera.
Yeah, so exactly. So that's...
Same thing with, you know, what...
let off you have on your bow.
Yeah.
A lot of it's, you know, just it's morals and what you have to sleep with at night. So... But I guess for me, another thing I want to ask is, like, for you anyway, where do you draw the line? Because, like, Pope and Young has drawn several lines in the sand where it comes to let off, or even the use of, you know, I'm sure that back in the day when compounds first started coming out, I'm sure there were some people that were pissed off about, you know, Fred Bear using his compound.
Oh, yeah, just like now you got people that are pissed off about people using a crossbow.
Yeah, well,
capable of using
but then
compound.
but now that goes into Boone and Crockett. Crossbows do. Like, where, I guess it sucks because, like, you have to continue drawing lines somewhere. So it's like, it's let off, and then it's like, okay, we allow all these bows except the crossbow. You know, well, now that there's people coming up with these mechanisms for their compounds that assist you in shooting them like a crossbow. They're not being manufactured in, like, production sizes, but I've seen videos of guys that are, you know, garage engineers coming up with mechanisms that mount to the bow to hold them in place once they're drawn back. And then it's like a trigger.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, like, is that still legal to be, like, used or to enter your buck into Pope and Young with that mechanism?
I have no idea.
And then you're allowed to use rangefinders as long as it's not attached to your bow. So, like, those new Garmin sites that are out that do the rangefinding for you, and then move your pin and everything, can't use those. And I know people that personally use that site that I wonder if they even know.
Are they entering their deer into the Pope and Young books?
The guy, like, as far as I know, that person hasn't killed anything that's Pope and Young class. But it's just something to think about. If you're using those sites, it's totally fine. I'm not against any legal mechanism that helps you get the job done, essentially. Like, if it's legal and it builds your confidence in what you're doing, I'm all for it. But at the same time, like, don't be entering your buck into a Pope and Young if you're using that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's just, and obviously fair chase, like, you can't have high fence or anything like that. But even the way it was written, our Uncle Mark, he used to use a sight that was electronic on his bow because his eyes were like opposite dominant or something.
He was right hand dominant, left eye dominant.
So he couldn't use a conventional sight easily, so he had like a laser sight. It didn't project a laser, but it was still electronic. Correct?
Yeah, it was kind of like a
red dot.
A red dot, basically.
Yeah, but it didn't project a laser or
No.
anything. But because it's electronic, it's still technically, you couldn't enter anything into Pope and Young with that sight being used because it was attached to your bow. The only thing, it's anything electronic, basically.
It's attached to your bow?
Or arrow, except lighted nocks and cameras.
What about like the our lighted sights? Those aren't even legal in most states, are they? I don't know.
I don't know.
I've seen those sites where there's that little switch on the bottom, and you switch it and they glow a little bit for like that last 20 minutes of your hunt where...
I don't know if those are legal or not. I know I have a light on my sight that I used for indoor archery because it's like in a dark room and it's like under black lights and stuff, but it's removable. So I just take it off during the hunting season. So I honestly don't know if those are legal or not. I'd have to look into it. Not that I'm not going to use it just because I don't really see the benefit of using them. But anyway, yeah, the way it was written on Pope and Young's website was that any electronics attached to your bow except for cameras and lighted nocks disqualifies you from entering. Not saying that they're illegal, you just can't put it in their record book. So, is there anything else you want to elaborate on or anything from, like, Pope and Young entering record books?
No, just that new information that you told me just kind of further solidifies my notion of, Pope and Young trying to keep it old school. Like, I didn't know that there was all of those qualifications. Like, I think my bow's over that 65% let off.
Oh, I know yours is for sure.
So
is mine. Most bows sold today, what you consider your flagship bows, like you're shooting G5 Prime.
So Prime Elite.
Really?
Or not,
I think it was G5 Prime.
No, Prime Impact.
Okay.
Yeah, I got G5s in my head from a whole nother thing.
Oh, okay.
That's Prime Elite.
You just said...
Prime Impact. G5 Elite. Yeah,
okay, Prime makes his bow. We're going to...
Prime Impact.
You're possible.
100%. Okay. Yeah.
All right. He's 100%.
Prime Impact. Yeah.
Okay.
Impact Elite, they rhyme a little bit.
They don't. But and then I'm shooting Darton Lobo, and both of ours I believe are 80% let off. But I can tell you, I was shooting like a 20-year-old Matthews before I switched to this bow, and that was also 80% let off. 80% let off 20 years ago does not feel like 80% let off on today's bows. I don't know, like the back wall and the valley of the draw cycle on these bows is just incredible. To me, they just seem to keep getting better.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because like I've drawn some like the Elite bows back, and like I'm saying, brand name, not like the brand Elite, not just like top bows, but like Elite archery. Their draw cycle is like stupid smooth, but that's what they're known for too. Like that's, like PSE wants to be known for speed and stuff. Like Elite, their draw cycle is phenomenal. And like that's their technology. So, but yeah, there's all sorts of stipulations that I bet you a lot of people don't realize. But like Frank, I know he's got a buck that was in the mid 140s that he never entered. Like it just, I think some people refer to bucks as like Pope and Young bucks or booners without necessarily putting them in, to me, like Booner and Pope and Young is more of like a, trying to think of the right level, like a I don't even know, like a hash mark or something. Like once it hits a certain size, then it, like I just classify that's a Pope and Young buck, or that's a Booner, which I don't think I've ever laid my eyes on a buck that I could call a Booner. I've jokingly called bucks Booners. I think everybody's done that. But the closest I've ever seen was 167 and 5/8. So like that still isn't technically.
We did have that one on camera that was probably a Booner.
Which one?
The one that got wounded.
Oh, yeah. We won't go any further than that. I guess we better, just so to clarify, it was not wounded by any of us in the group.
No.
It was a buck we had on camera that, yeah, Tom's right. I bet you would have even probably netted Boone as well. Yeah, it was not anybody. Like I hesitated. I didn't want to really talk about the buck much. But yeah, just to clarify, so nobody's like questioning. Nobody in our group or anything wounded it, but it was out there, and we got stories later on. So anyway, yeah, I guess you're right. We did have.
That was the one and only Booner we ever had on camera. But
yeah,
he was a dandy.
Yep, it's the one you lose sleep over for sure.
That's the way she goes.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much sums up the old Pope and Young topic tonight. So thanks again, Caden, for that idea. I wanted to talk about it just because it's been so popular, but he kind of drove me to do it. So in the post, we'd also said we'd be throwing out a free hat if we decided to take your idea. So I'll get a hold of Caden and get his info and USPS that one priority mail and get that one sent over to him.
Another hot topic is the USPS jacking their shipping rates up.
Tom, you're gonna have to take the mic for this one because I do not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're like jacking their prices up like $3 to $4.
Really?
Per shipment, yeah.
Just like a grinding Tom's gears segment here.
Well, I mean, they've been doing a lot of shipping lately since, COVID. People aren't going to the stores, so they're like, well, I see a area to make some more money. Everybody's shipping stuff, so let's jack the prices up, make a quick buck.
Sounds like they're making a few quick bucks.
Yeah, wild. It's not really a hot topic, but
you say you came out like that was like fresh out the coffee pot hot.
Yeah.
And it died out real quick.
Well, I do a lot of shipping in my line of work, so.
Oh, that's true. Very true.
It's a hot topic there.
Well, speaking of doing a lot of shipping, we have some updates on White Cat Outdoors.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, would you like to elaborate on that since you're the one that started this whole shipping debacle?
Yeah, we are legal beagles now.
In what aspect?
We got our tax ID.
Sales tax.
Sales tax ID.
So we can legally sell apparel now, which means for us, we can start selling T-shirts and hats and stuff. We've given some hats away.
Looks like Nick's good buddy Caden's the last one to get a free hat.
Well, no, there is. You also have another buddy that you agreed on a podcast with, a game warden. Or is that somebody else's? We have like 4 people that run our Instagram page, so somebody was messaging their buddy back about having a friend that's a game warden.
Yeah, that was not me.
Okay, well, somebody's getting a free hat out of that
Some
deal.
game warden's buddy.
Yeah. Actually, probably give one to the game warden, too.
Yeah, if he's on the show, I'd throw him a bone.
Throw him a hat.
Throw him a hat.
So anyway, yeah, so we're on the tail end of getting free hats handed out. Pretty soon we're going to be selling hats. We got 2 T-shirt designs. I don't want to release those yet, just because I just don't want to.
Keep your eye out for a pre-order coming out, though.
Yeah, that's how we're going to do them. First batch, just because this is new for us, and we don't want to over-order or under-order. So we're going to do a pre-order, probably run it for 2 or 3 weeks, and then put the order in, and then 2 weeks after you would start seeing shipping at least. So I I will say that both shirts look really sweet, the designs. Tom's going to have to take credit for one of them because I know that was his design or his...
It's my catchphrase.
Yeah, Tom came up with the idea, so it's going to be pretty sweet, and a lot of guys that follow this podcast, it's going to line up right with them too. So if you know one of Tom's catchphrases, you're probably going to have an idea of what the shirt's going to be like, but it's pretty sweet. I do want to give credit where credit is due. We had my friend Sydney Powell do the t-shirt designs. She does like graphic design and stuff. I went to college with her. Super talented and really easy to work with. I'll have to just put her link or something in the podcast because I don't know her Instagram handle offhand. But that's how I contacted her to help us with the graphic design stuff.
Look for the link in the bio.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a bio.
In the post.
Yeah. I don't do a biography every time we...
That's the new thing.
That's it. Well, that's something that not really a hot topic that I want to just mention real briefly.
It's about as hot as the UPS shipping.
Yeah, well, Facebook, in any social media platform, they ask for a bio, which is short for biography, unless I'm mistaken. Now, how many people are out there having somebody else write that info in?
Probably nobody. Should be an auto bio.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? See how aggravating that is now?
That's a pretty hot topic.
Yeah, very hot. So, that's just, ugh.
Yeah, I don't think that is quite as hot as the UPS prices.
I thought it was USPS.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Well, the UPS is the one that's jacking their prices.
The one with the brown trucks?
Yeah.
Yeah, USPS is U.S. Postal Service. That's the one.
It's United Postal Service is UPS.
Yeah. So
to my knowledge, they're not jacking their prices up. It's the UPS.
It's those brown truck guys.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, Tom, I think we've rambled on enough. I feel like we've talked a fair bit, actually, about the new, or it's not even a new ruling. It's just more come to light, and there's been a lot of controversy on it.
It's got to be fairly new because cell cams are fairly new.
Well, I'm saying they didn't just come up with this rule last week, but it's coming to light now.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so engage with us. Let us know what you guys think about it because I'm interested in getting other points of views. Like I said, mine currently, it's their club. Run it the way you want. You don't have to be a part of it. That's kind of how I look at it. But we're not going to stall any longer. Like I said, or like Tom said earlier, we got a lot of work to do this weekend. Splitting wood and checking cameras and stands and food plot work and stuff. So hopefully if you guys are listening to this, you might be at work, but once you're out of work, make sure you're getting outside.